I appreciate it. All right, guys. What's going on? All right. I was gonna ask you who's gonna win, but I don't have to ask now. What's up, y'all? All right, y'all. All right.
Matthysse Boxing Nation.
My man. Canelo. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Bob Arum just recently said something that pretty much confirms everything that I've been telling you guys since day one. When it comes to Manny Pacquiao picking his opponents, it is not up to Bob Arum, it is up to Manny Pacquiao. This is what Bob Arum just recently said. Quote, Manny is going to take the best guy, risk versus reward, and determine who he fights. Anyone who says it's my decision is crazy. It's all Manny's decision. Manny. And I guess after consulting with Freddie, we'll pick the opponent that they want to fight. End quote. The reason why I say this confirms everything that I've been telling you guys since day one, because I remember making videos after Manny Pacquiao lost to Tim Bradley. And I was telling you guys, not only was I telling you, but there were reports. Bob Arum, he wanted to make Pacquiao versus Bradley 2 the rematch immediately following the first fight. But it was Manny Pacquiao's team that decided they didn't want to fight Bradley again. If you guys can recall, Manny Pacquiao, he went on ESPN and he said there was no reason for me to fight Tim Bradley again because the world already knows that I beat him the first time. But see, what happened was later on, Bob Arum, like he's given Manny Pacquiao a list of opponents to choose from right now, that list wasn't as long as it is now. Because back then, he was telling Manny Pacquiao, you either have to fight Tim Bradley or you have to fight Ruslan Provodnikov. You know, I think there was a third opponent, and I'm forgetting the name. But it was 3 choices. And Manny Pacquiao, he chose to fight Tim Bradley out of the 3. Okay? So with that out of the way, now Manny Pacquiao, he has another list of opponents to choose from that Bob Arum is offering. And this is the list right now. You have Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Terrence Crawford, Lucas Matthysse, and Juan Manuel Marquez. I have a couple questions. How good is Manny Pacquiao? How much confidence does Manny Pacquiao have in himself? How much does Manny Pacquiao believe in his skills? Is Manny going to pick the safest opponent on that list? Or is he going to pick the most dangerous fighter on that list? Because I think we already know who the most dangerous fighters are. And we already know who the least dangerous fighter is on this list, right? You know, Floyd Mayweather put Manny Pacquiao in a very difficult position by beating him. Because for 5 years, boxing fans, or at least I should say a lot of boxing fans, were praying that Manny Pacquiao would be the first fighter to put a loss on Floyd Mayweather's record. That put a lot of pressure on Manny Pacquiao. I believe going into the fight, there was a lot of pressure, and Manny Pacquiao was feeling the pressure. He was saying to himself, oh my God, everyone has been saying that this guy Floyd is scared of me, and he's a chicken, he's a coward. That means I'm supposed to go in there and beat this guy. What if I lose to this guy after everyone said that he was afraid of me? Do you know how that would make me look? I think these are things that Manny Pacquiao was saying to himself, right? This is the reason why when Manny Pacquiao had Floyd Mayweather on the ropes, Manny Pacquiao, instead of jumping on him like Maidana did, Manny Pacquiao, he would take steps back. Because Manny Pacquiao has so much respect for Floyd Mayweather that Floyd was already getting in his head. And he was thinking about possibly getting caught with one of those terrific counter punches. So when a lot of these casual fans thought that they were actually helping Manny Pacquiao and hurting Floyd Mayweather for years by calling him a coward, calling Mayweather scared, saying, "Run, Floyd, run. You're scared of Manny Pacquiao." When you guys were doing this, you thought you were actually helping Manny Pacquiao. In actuality, you guys were hurting him because you were putting more pressure on him to guarantee a win over the older Floyd Mayweather, right? And now the pressure continues because now Manny Pacquiao is stuck in a position where he has to make a decision right now. Does Manny Pacquiao want to be known as the guy who was supposed to beat Floyd Mayweather but end up being one of Floyd Mayweather's easiest opponents, right? Or does he go the Roberto Duran route? See, a lot of people don't think about this, but Roberto Duran is considered one of the greats. But the truth is, Roberto Duran, he lost to all of the greats. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. He got knocked out by Tommy Hearns. He lost to Wilfredo Benitez. And he lost to Marvin Hagler, right? Those were the four greats in Roberto Duran's era. Now, let's not forget, Roberto Duran was the first fighter to beat Sugar Ray Leonard. But unfortunately, Sugar Ray Leonard, he came back right away in a rematch. Not only did he beat Duran, but he forced the very tough Duran to quit. And then they had a rubber match later on when they were older. And of course, Sugar Ray Leonard, he won that fight as well. Okay? Now, even though no matter how you slice it, Roberto Duran's career is still linked to Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns, there's another fighter's name that Roberto Duran is linked to as well. And that's, at the time, the super middleweight champion, the young, hungry lion, Iran Barkley. Roberto Duran defeating the young, hungry lion, the champion Iran Barkley. It didn't completely remove the memory of him losing to all the other greats, but it alleviated a lot of pain for Duran and for boxing fans, right? It made the Duran fans very proud of Roberto Duran because he was able to do something that a lot of other fighters couldn't do at that time, which is dethrone a young, hungry lion like Iran Barkley. And I believe Manny Pacquiao is in that same position right now. He has to make a decision. Once again, do you want to be just known for losing to the best fighter of this generation? Or do you want to try to go out and be remembered another way? And that's by defeating a young, hungry lion, like maybe a Terrence Crawford. Now, don't get me wrong. Terrence Crawford may be a little bit better than an Iran Barkley. That's just my own opinion because we know how versatile Terrence Crawford is. But at the same time, that is Manny Pacquiao's Iran Barkley right there. Even Kell Brook, that's Manny Pacquiao's Iran Barkley. Amir Khan is a good fight. And I would still say it's a 60-40 fight. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Amir Khan's chin being so terrible, I would probably pick him to win the fight. You know, it's just, when it comes to Amir Khan's chin, it makes it very difficult to put money on Khan, right? Because you just can't rely on that chin. If Chris Algieri can hurt Amir Khan, we can only imagine what Manny Pacquiao can do to Amir Khan. But I still see that fight extremely competitive until those whiskers get touched. But anyway, like I said, so that would be a good payday for Manny Pacquiao, right? That'll keep him and his family eating. But if he wants to be remembered in a different way, he would have to take on that young, hungry lion, Kell Brook, Terrence Crawford. That's the only way he's going to make people forget. And don't get me wrong, because forget may be a strong word. He's going to make people accept the fact that he lost to the best fighter of our generation. Okay, yeah, he lost to the best, But he kind of made up for it by beating a young, hungry lion that looked like he was unbeatable. Because at the time, even though Iran Barkley had defeats on his record, he looked almost unbeatable. Okay? Terrence Crawford right now, he's undefeated. Kell Brook is undefeated. And both of those fighters, they look like the future. That would be a hell of a statement if Manny Pacquiao could get in the ring and defeat one of those young lions. So I think we all know that if it's up to Manny Pacquiao, he's most likely not going to pick the young, hungry, most dangerous lion. He's not going to do that. I don't believe it. And if he does do it, boy, I would give Manny Pacquiao a whole lot of credit. But if I know Freddie Roach, because see, one thing about Freddie Roach is Freddie Roach, he recognizes skill. Okay? Like I told you guys before, when I asked Freddie Roach who he thought was the future of the sport, who did he think was going to take the torch from Floyd Mayweather and become the next pound for pound #1 champion? Like I told you guys, believe it or not, he didn't say Golovkin. He didn't say Canelo Alvarez. He said He said Errol Spence. Okay? He said Errol Spence. So my whole thing is, if Freddie Roach is very high on Errol Spence, I would have to believe he has to be very high on Terrence Crawford as well. And if that's the case, I could easily see Freddie saying, no, Manny. Let's leave Terrence Crawford alone. Okay? Let's leave that man alone. Let's go for Amir Khan. He doesn't have a chin, right? All we have to worry about is his little flurries. You spar with him 1,000,000 times. The safest opponent would have to be Amir Khan. And I could just hear Manny Pacquiao saying to Freddie Roach, okay, sounds like a good ass idea. Sounds like a good plan to me. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I close with this. This is the reason why it is so important to win the biggest fight of your career. Because if Manny Pacquiao would have beat the best fighter of our era, of our generation, then it wouldn't have mattered who his next opponent would have been. He could have fought Andre Berto. Hell, he could have fought Chris Algieri in a rematch if he wanted to. If Manny Pacquiao would have beat Floyd Mayweather, he could have said, you know what, guys? I'm just going to have one more fight and then retire. He could have told us, it don't matter who the opponent is. It's just going to be a victory lap, just to say bye, right? He could have been fighting David Diaz again. Nobody would have cared. Why? Because he already beat the man on the top of the mountain. But instead, he lost to that man. And now Manny Pacquiao has to work even harder to make up for that loss. Like I said, don't get the message misconstrued. He will never make up for losing to Floyd Mayweather, but he will at least give people something else positive to think about. Now, we already know Manny Pacquiao has some great wins earlier in his career, but I truly believe that Manny Pacquiao and the Pacquiao fans, they want to see him go out with a great win as well. That's all I got. I'm on to the next one.